Hello everybody and welcome to the Little Woolly Things podcast. My name is Wendelica Klein and I am your host, and this is episode number 6. So I wanted to welcome any new viewers that I have. I hope that you enjoy what you see, and thank any of my returning viewers. You guys are so awesome to come spend some time with me. I know I enjoy watching podcasts. It kind of makes me feel like even though you recorded your podcast at 8 a.m. or like noon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, I'm watching you between 10 p.m. and midnight, and it sort of feels like I've got somebody who is a fellow night owl staying up with me and crafting and working on projects. It's kind of nice. I like to knit while I'm watching podcasts. So I hope that I can maybe keep some of you company in the same way. And I am hearing my dog barking and the rooster crowing. So I might have to quiet the dog. I don't know. He stopped. The rooster's still crowing. Well, we'll see how this works. I may have to take a break and go yell at the dog. Okay, so anyway, you can find me as Little Woolly Things on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Ravelry, and I also have an Etsy shop called Little Woolly Things. So, and I also have a blog at littlewoollythings.com, so I hope you guys, if you feel so inclined, take some time to check out my Etsy shop and my other social media outlets. I post different things on each different platform. So, you're welcome to look at pictures of my children and my knitting projects on Instagram. On Facebook, I post links to knitting resources and tutorials, techniques, and things like that. And also I have a podcast group on Ravelry. So if you go onto Ravelry and search in groups for Little Woolly Things, you will find me. And there you will find the show notes for all of my episodes, some general threads, Ask Me Anything, and information about the sneakygiftkal that I have going right now. Yeah, a lot of things. I also have, well, just go check it out and see what's there, because it changes sometimes. Okay, so let's start with the coffee that I'm drinking today. It is, I'm going to try not to rattle everything off super fast. I've already had my pint of coffee this morning. This is my second, and I brewed this up in my mocha pot, so it's kind of like a stovetop espresso. And this particular batch is from Kenya. It is very strong, very full flavor. It's really good. I love a full-bodied coffee. And this is actually an AB grade. When you're talking about grades of coffee beans, Kenya kind of has their own system of grading the coffee. I believe that grade A is the largest size bean, and then grade B is smaller slightly. And a lot of people think that the AB combination of the two sizes gives you a more full, rounder flavor. So I haven't done enough research with my own coffee roasting to really know if that is actually the case, but I'm really enjoying this Kenya AB. So yeah, I might even possibly make some of this available in my Etsy shop. It's not yet though, so you'll just have to check back and see. Anyway, I am thoroughly enjoying this, and I have to remind myself, calm down, don't talk too fast. Too much caffeine. Okay. I also want to introduce to you one of my little friends in my Etsy shop. This is Tansy Bear. Say hello, Tansy. Tansy Bear was crocheted using Knit Picks palette yarns. So this is a very fine fingering weight yarn. Hello. I don't know if it's focusing on her or not, but anyway, Tansy is a tiny little bear. Oh, now she is, how tall is that? Just over 4 inches tall, maybe, if you were to stand her up. Normally she sits just like that. Her little hat is removable. It has holes in the brim for her ears. I'll get her a little bit closer so you can see her better. She has a cute little crocheted flower on her hat with a little button right there in the center. She has beautiful glass eyes. She has a hand-stitched nose. She has a little chin, a little open mouth there, but it's so tiny it's really hard to see. Her dress is actually removable if you really wanted to work that hard. I don't think I'm going to try and take her dress off. It's a solid dress on the bottom, and all of those ruffles have been crocheted over the top. There are millions of stitches in this little bear. She is jointed, so her arms move and her legs move and her little head turns. See? She has some little hand-colored details around her eyes and her cheeks. A little tiny bit of blush there. And she's just a very sweet little bear. She's such a cutie pie. She is in my Etsy shop for sale, and she's actually on sale half price. Go check her out. She's one of my favorites. Anyway, my entire Etsy shop is on sale right now. And my sale is running until October 17th, which is my birthday. And so I thought that would be a good just time to clear out some inventory and make room for some new stuff in my Etsy shop. So please check out Little Woolly Things on Etsy, and you might be able to snag a little Tansy Bear. She's the only one of a kind. Okay, now I would like to give a little podcast love to Melissa of Honeybee Knits podcast. I've been watching her lately and I've really been enjoying what she's doing. She is from Ohio, and she has a Ravelry podcast group also, and she's running lots of knit-alongs. She gives all kinds of giveaways, and so she's really fun to watch. Right now she's got in her podcast group on Ravelry a sock cal, a holiday sweater cal, and also Stash Down 2017, where the goal is to list how many skeins of yarn you've got in your stash and then keep track of how many skeins you use up throughout the year. And I think there's going to be a prize for the person who uses up the most out of their stash without replenishing it all. That sounds like fun. I wish I had gotten in on it at the beginning of the year. Sort of. The thought of actually counting all of the balls of yarn in my stash is very intimidating. I don't know if I actually know how many skeins I've got in my stash. Yeah, I'd have to take a serious inventory, and so I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Anyway, and as far as podcast love goes, I also wanted to say hello to my friend Lynn of the Sunshine and Bubblegum podcast. Hi, Lynn! She mentioned me in her last podcast, and I tell you, Lynn, I am going to bookmark that because you said so many nice things about me that anytime I am feeling down or like I have no business being a knitwear designer, you know, because I don't know what I'm doing or whatever, I'm going to watch that again because you were so awesome and you said so many nice things and you just made me blush all over. So thank you for lifting me up like that. That was so much fun. And I also want to say hello to Joanna. Hello, Joanna, from the Stitching the High Notes podcast. Joanna also mentioned one of my patterns. I have offered it as a knit-along prize. She is doing a knit-along. Let me get the details correct here. She is running a knit-along with Gabby from the Once Upon a Corgi podcast. It is the Pumpkin Make-Along, and it runs through November 23rd. So if you really love fall and you love pumpkins and you love pumpkin projects and decorating with pumpkins, go check her out. She also has a podcast group on Ravelry, and all the details are there. So I hope that you go check that out and join along in the fun. Okay, I am back. Sorry about the interruption. My daughter wanted to know if we could have cake for lunch. Anyway, let's see, where was I? Oh, we are up to whips. I have been rather busy. My goal has always been to podcast every other week. However, the last couple of podcasts have been conveniently spaced 3 weeks apart rather than 2. So I've actually had some time to get some knitting done. I've been working my little fingers to the bone, and I want to show you, where did I put it? Oh, over here. This project that I am working on, this is part of my Sneaky Gift Gal. This is going to be a Christmas gift for one of my daughters. I found this pattern on Ravelry. It was a free pattern. However, it did have some problems that I had to figure out. So I'm not going to give you the name of the pattern because it was not convenient. I wanted a pattern that I could just pick up and not have to think about, just follow a chart, you know, or whatever, and make something pretty. There was no chart. The patterns were all written out, and there were mistakes in almost every row. So, anyway, I will show you what I'm doing. This is worked in Knit Picks Stroll fingering. The white is just white. You can see this is their Glimmer, and I believe this color is called J. It is worked with a very pretty traveling stitch cable design. And if I stretch this out a little bit, you can see the cables on the sides. Straight stockinette on the bottom, short row heel, and then when we get to the top, the pattern, of course, continues on the front, and then it starts up on the back so that it's mirrored front and back. And I will probably work this till it's about even here, and then I'll do a white cuff to match it. So I'm very pleased with how these are turning out. I think my daughter will love them. I'm going to have to come up with something similarly stunning for her closest in age sister, because they share a bedroom, and you know, you can't give one awesome thing to one child and not to the other. So I really, really hope I have time to finish this pair of socks, because this is sock number 1. So I've got to finish sock number 1, and then, of course, work sock number 2, and then come up with a pair of socks for sister. And anyway, let's see. Oh, these are Addy Turbos, just in case anyone's interested in what needle I'm using. I'm trying to figure out or think of what size this is. This would be about a size 4, I would guess. US 4. I don't know. I bought these on Etsy, or not Etsy. I bought them on eBay a long time ago, and of course they have the German labels and the European sizes, and I just never quite remember what the millimeter measurements are for all of the US sizes. So anyway, anyway, it's about a 4, I think. Okay, so there's that whip. The next whip I have to show you is, okay, I'm going to have to go get something in a second, but first I will show you the pattern that I am currently writing, because that's something I've been working on an awful lot, trying to get it finished up. This is, I think I've shown this on the podcast before. This was my first prototype. This is called the Think of Me Shawl, and I currently have a call out for test knitters for this pattern. I am really, really loving all the things that are going on in this, but I did want to make a few small changes to the pattern, so I am working it again and charting it all out. This is going to have some lovely charts that I hope will make all of this short row shaping and lace make a lot more sense and be really easy to work, even maybe for somebody who hasn't done a lot of all over lace work. So that's my goal anyway, and that's why I want some test knitters to test this and tell me if I have succeeded in my goal of making it easy to follow. So this is my second copy of the shawl pattern. I have actually gotten to the point lace edging at this point. I just need to decide exactly what I want at the top edge and work that and bind it off, and then I will do the point lace edging and it will be done. So that's really close. I'm so close. I'm going to be shipping this out to my test knitters as soon as I get it done, you know, written out on the page. It is a very long pattern. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have a lot of printer paper and ink to print this one out. But it is going to be gorgeous. I am so happy with the way this design is turning out. Even after working it twice, which is an issue I have. I hate doing something more than once. I have second sock syndrome like crazy, and so I really have to push to get past that to finish things. However, I am improving on that. I think writing patterns has forced me into it, so there is that. Anyway, let's move on to, no, let's not. I'm still doing whips. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, here I am again. I got an email from somebody who had bought my Gypsy Caravan shawl pattern, and she was not sure how to go about switching from, this is the shawl, really hard to see at this depth or this distance from the camera, but it's a huge shawl. I love this. It is my most favorite pattern of all time. I really, really love this. But anyway, I got this email from someone who was not sure how to go from working the short row, garter stitch short row wedges side to side, to working sideways across the lace panel, which you work this direction. And so I thought I would work up a tutorial video to show how to get started with that, because it is a little bit tricky, especially if you have never worked at right angles to your project before. It's attached, it's knitted onto the body of the shawl as you work across, which is a really great technique to learn if you have never done it before. I hate having to sew pieces together. You could not imagine, well, maybe you can't imagine how much I don't like doing that. So as far as I can, I like to pick up and knit out, knit edgings, picking it or attaching as you go, just so that you don't have to spend all that time later with a yarn needle and, you know, trying to make sure you've got enough yarn on the needle to knit it or to sew it all on without running out, you know, and then you have to finish in ends, and it's just a pain. And I know, it's worth it, but oh my goodness, it's so much easier if you can just knit it right onto the work. So much less work to do it that way. So anyway, yeah, it's a worthwhile skill to have, and so I am going to work on a tutorial so that anybody who wants to work up my Gypsy Caravan shawl might have an easier time of it. There is already a tutorial online for this ruffle edging, so if you wanted to learn how to do this beautiful box ruffle edging, I do have a tutorial on YouTube for that. Check out my YouTube channel, it's right there. And I just so much love this shawl. I love the way it sits. I love the beautiful asymmetry of it. I love the colors. I love how huge it is and how comfy. I mean, when I have to go into a large crowd of people, it is not the most comfortable thing for me. But if I have my Gypsy Caravan shawl on, I feel like I am wrapped up in my security blanket and I'm safe, you know, nothing can get to me. I just love it. This is perfect. So, my lovely shawl. And yes, I'm working on a tutorial so that y'all can work that beautiful lace, cabled lace design that runs through it. Okay, so next I'm going to show you some of my FOs from the last 3 weeks. I suppose I should have gotten more finished than I did in 3 weeks, but I've been working really hard on writing out that pattern. So I do have a pair of socks. These are all GiftKal material, except that I can't enter my own cal anyway. I'm showing pictures of all my projects anyway. This is done in Knit Picks City Tweed. That's what it's called. And I believe this is Garnet, and this one is, oh my goodness, I cannot remember the name of this colorway, but I know this one is Garnet. So anyway, it's pretty much a vanilla sock, just with contrasting toe and heel. This was an afterthought heel. It's got a 1x1 rib, and I worked a double-stitched cuff here, so I ended up Kitchenering it together. It's two thicknesses worked at the same time here. And then I Kitchenered it together at the top. So this gives I think it gives a nice sturdy cuff that isn't going to slip quite so much as a straight ribbed cuff. I did work it ribbed and double stitched. So this is completely finished, ends finished in, and all ready to gift. So the other one, I only have one more that I actually finished, and this one hardly feels worthy of showing off, but this one has a short row heel, and these are for my little son, who is 6 years old. And this one is worked in, this is an acrylic wool blend yarn that I got from Joann's, and I cannot remember the name. I think it might be a Lion Brand yarn. I like Lion Brand as far as acrylics go. So another vanilla sock, short row heel, 1x1 ribs, and 6-year-old boy size. I hope that will fit him. It should. He's got a pretty large foot for a 6-year-old. He always has had really big feet. So I really expect that he will someday become taller than his big brother. Right now his big brother is, how old is he? I don't even know. He just got married a few months ago. So he's much taller than Justin. Justin, my 6-year-old. Okay, so that's all my FOs. Next, I want to talk about my Sneaky Gift Cal. I mentioned it a few minutes ago. I did have a donation of a pattern from Mrs. Mouse on Ravelry. Her name is Dorothy, and she donated as a Cal prize her shawl pattern that she calls the Anne shawl. She said it was created from a shawl designed by her mom off the top of her head back in university in the late 60s, early 70s. So that's just a really neat story behind the pattern. I guess her mom had made up the pattern and knitted it up, and Dorothy loved it so much she borrowed the shawl from her mom and wrote the pattern off of it. So I think it's just going to be really gorgeous, and if I'm tech savvy enough, I will insert a picture of the pattern here so that you can see it. It really is a pretty one. So that is the latest of my Sneaky Gift Cal. The Sneaky Gift Cal, if I can speak, the Sneaky Gift Cal is running through January 1st. I would love to see you all join me. I tried to use random number generator to pick a winner from the chatter thread. I was going to give away a pattern. The first number that I picked was me. The second number that I picked was me. Third number that I picked was me. It kept going like that. No matter how many random numbers I generated with the random number generator, every single time it was one of my own comments. So that tells me I don't have enough people in my knit-along to actually do this very well, because I can't win my own prizes, and I've only got 2 people who are actually talking in the chatter thread with me. So in order for this to be a lot of fun, I need some more people to join the knit-along. And I don't want this to sound like desperate or anything, but it would be an awful lot of fun if we had some more people to talk to about our gift knitting. So if you would, please go to the Little Woolly Things podcast group on Ravelry, join the group, and then just say something in the chatter thread about projects that you're working on that you would like to gift to somebody during the holiday season. I love to see pictures of your projects. You can even just talk about things that you are thinking about making, or trying to decide which yarns to use for a project. You know, just talk, because I don't know about you guys, but in my life there aren't a whole lot of people that I can talk to face to face who actually understand I don't know, that knitter's mind, that desire to hand create things for the people that we love, and that drives us to stay up to all hours of the night trying to get them all done before Christmas, or before a birthday, or any other holiday that requires a gift. So I've been enjoying Ravelry lately, because it's full of people who are makers, and we are willing to put time and effort into gift giving. And you know, because a pair of hand knit socks means, to me anyway, a whole lot more than I don't know, something that you pick up at the store, that you pick it up, you put it in a box, you wrap it up, and then you give it away. Some things, there are some very appropriate gifts that you can do that with. I'm not saying that every gift has to be handmade, but for people who really, really enjoy putting all of that heart and love into something to give to someone else, there are probably higher than your average population all grouped together in Ravelry talking about projects. So yeah, I don't know, that's a little aside. Anyway, for what it's worth, I do have a podcast group on Ravelry. All the information is there for the Sneaky Gift Cal, and I really want to give away some prizes, so I need people to, you know, join me so I can give you stuff. Okay, so I mentioned that I needed some test knitters for my Think of Me shawl. So I did put out a call on Instagram and also in my podcast group on Ravelry. If you are interested in test knitting, I do need to have your comments about the pattern and project photos by November 30th. If you think you can knit a shawl and do all of that lace work and stuff, and have it finished and ready to send to me by November 30th, please either contact me on Instagram or on Ravelry, or you can even send me an email. My email address is wendy@kleinart.com, and I will put that link down here so that you can spell it correctly and it'll actually get to me. And yes, I would love to have a great group of test knitters for this project. I would love to see it in different color combinations. This particular black and gray just really reminds me of the Phantom of the Opera, and that's why I named it Think of Me, because that's my favorite song from the Phantom of the Opera. And I told one of my older daughters, that I had named it the Think of Me shawl, and she started singing think of me, you know. And so the Phantom of the Opera is one of her favorite operas also. So anyway, it's fun. I really love the pattern, and I really love the, you know, the theme. It just really seems to click together in my mind. I could not name it anything else. So, okay. I think that is everything that I had for you today. I will probably think of 5 more things after I shut down the camera. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed the podcast. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Hit the little bell below if you would like to receive updates every time I post something new. Then YouTube is great about letting you know. And if you hit the like button and I have more subscribers, then that puts my podcast higher in the search results on YouTube so that more people can find me. And so that's very, very helpful to me. I would love to see my podcast grow. I would love to be able to have more giveaways and just have everybody join in the fun, because knitting together with friends is so much more fun than just knitting all by yourself. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!